Hey beautiful souls, it's your girl Jarius the Aquarius, and let's do an energetic tap-in on Rod Wave. I love Rod Wave. I've been a fan since like I think 2019, 2018 when that Heart on Ice came out. And this is pretty self-explanatory because he wears his heart on his sleeve, you know what I'm saying? So how I read is first I'll ask my higher Krystic council to connect to their higher Krystic council, and whatever wants to come through and to be shared, I'll be that vessel for that person, right? I also like to look at, their tropical or their true sky chart. Numerology, I consider that. I get angel numbers. I get downloads, really. Like, I'll say, like, oh, I'm hearing something. But sometimes it's not like I'll hear them all the time. It's really like an instant just download of information. And it's almost like it comes through my ears, but then it comes through my mouth, through my throat. And sometimes I'll look at a picture, or if I just think about the person, certain things will just come through. So, and then yeah, sometimes I use cards to clarify, but with this one I didn't really have to use cards to clarify. Because again, Rod Wave is somebody who wears his heart on his sleeve, and what you see is what you get with him, right? So he was born, his birthday is actually this month. He's a Virgo. He was born the 27th. And getting into his numerology, so that would make him a life path 8 because he was born in 1998. So with the life path 8, his intentions match his actions, or they should. Okay, 8 is traditionally ruled by Saturn. Saturn rules karma. So let's say you're a life path 8, or let's say you were born on the 8th, or you were born on the 17th, or you were born on the 26th. You will notice that in your life, your intentions are everything. You know what I'm saying? And obviously intentions are everything to everyone, but more so if you're ruled by Saturn. So let's say you have a lot of Capricorn, a lot of Aquarius in your chart. You'll notice this theme too. But basically what I'm getting into is like, you know what I'm saying? If you're going out there and you're constantly doing people bad, it's going to come back harder, quicker for you if you're a life path 8 or you're Saturn ruled or you have a Saturn dominance. You know what I'm saying? So it's so important to be very precise with your intentions, you know what I'm saying, and to put out good so you can get that back. Because also, you know what I'm saying, these people, their good intentions, the things they do good for, it comes back to them tenfold. Just like if they were to go out and put bad intentions, it's going to come back to them tenfold. So, and let's say you ever try to cross a life path 8 or someone who was born on the 8th, the 17th, and the 26th, you can just expect your karma to come back tenfold or worse, because especially if someone is just Saturn ruled, right? So, with his intentions, when his intentions match his actions, doors will fly open. But when karma moves fast for him, whether blessings or consequences, so, sorry, that came out so confusing, but I basically just explained what I was saying. So, I'm at my job right now, and I have to be hyper aware of what's going on. If I'm talking fast, I'm sorry. Your girl's getting that apartment very soon, so I can actually have my sacred sanctuary to actually, like, film and it have a good background and all that, but let's keep going forward. So he is built for money energy with this life path 8, so kind of like he was destined for that bag. He was just probably never going to be broke, or if he did become broke, he has that hustle mentality, that survival instinct to get it all back, right? And this is also the number of long-term empire building. So, he came through and he built his legacy, right? And this also points to, because with that Saturn influence is, for me specifically speaking, I'm a Capricorn sun, things like that in my true sky, and I was parentified, I was exploited to things. Basically, I had to grow up fast, and I know a lot of other Saturn ruled people can feel that, and especially with life path 8. Okay, so I pick up on early life hard exploitation and people using his grind for gain. So I feel like Rod Wave, in a sense, has kind of always been used for what he can offer, which is unfortunate and very draining, and it gives you trust issues, you know what I'm saying. And then he was born on the 27th, which adds to 9. So this deals with ego battles, emotional extremes, cycles of overindulgence, whether that's, addictions, vices, whatever. And healing requires humility and self-awareness. So everything that I'm saying in this video is alleged for entertainment purposes only and my own psychic input on it, right? So getting into his astrology, so I looked at his tropical chart and I realized instantly that he has a Scorpio rising, and then he also has Mars and Chiron sitting on that. So he's literally here to heal the same wound that destroyed him in the past life. So I really do feel like he's living a parallel, a continuing parallel of what had happened to him in the past life. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was taken out really suddenly in a harsh way, maybe in a very violent way, and then he was kind of slipped right back into this plane very quickly. The Mars energy here shows he may have once been consumed by, violence, sex, power, the streets, or maybe even war. Maybe he even had to go to the war, you know what I'm saying? But now it's his passion to turn that pain into music. Okay, so Uranus in the 4th house, I also have this placement. So instantly I'm like, okay, unpredictable home life. Especially with feminine energy, because the 4th house is ruled by the moon. Moon traditionally rules the feminine energy, right? And especially with mother figures, that's kind of what I picked up. Allegedly, an emotional instability shaped his independence. So his emotional instability growing up shaped his independence. So that made him harder, tougher, right? Basically, like, you have to gain love. You got to gain people's attention. You got to do extreme things to get that motherly love, or so to speak, okay? So Saturn and his part of fortune is in Taurus. So this tells me that his blessings, part of fortune, and his karma, Saturn, are deeply tied to self-worth lessons, Taurus. Pain brings him recognition. Learning self-sufficiency is key. So with Rod Wave, a big theme for him is he's like a dilemma, a walking dilemma. Really, the way that he has gained power, gained fame, gained money is the same thing that totally destroyed him, has broken him down inside. Allegedly, right? And then to close it up with this astrology chart, because I always just look at what really pops out to me, right? And I usually get intuitive hits and stuff. So his moon in Pisces. So this is so explanatory over like Rod Wave, if you know anything about astrology. So he's got big emotions, big heart, wears his heart on his sleeve. He can maybe even be like emotionally up and down a lot. That shows me there was no boundaries in his early homes. There's probably a lot of enmeshment. You know what I'm saying? And there's probably an instinct to protect others, even at his own expense, right? So he's got a very big heart. He's going to look out for you, especially if he loves you or he considers you one of his friends. He's a ride or die. He's a ride or die. But this also means he's very emotional. He's very poetic. He's very artistic. Okay? So getting into his galactic origins. So I pick up on Lyra instantly that he's connected to the blue flame, the Elohim. And he carries codes of being a protector, of creation, leadership, even when he's wounded, right? And I picked up on stellar nation of the citation. So this is the whales, the orcas, the dolphins, heart-centered teacher. So he's a singer or he's a rapper, right? But he's teaching. He's prophet. He's sharing his testimony, right? Through his heart and his song. And then I pick up on indigo type 2-3 strands. So basically summing that up, he's coming in to dismantle a corrupted system, to bring awareness to it, while carrying generational trauma in his DNA. And then Sirius and Arcturus connections, okay? So Sirius, that would go into being with the indigos, but also him being connected to like the Brahmins, the stellar nation of the citations and things like that. And then Arcturus, I feel like he really focused more on sacred sound healing there and things like that. But creative, spiritual depth, struggles with his environment without growth, and sound technology mastery. So shadow loops, ancestral karmic patterns that I picked up. Okay, that he's a provider at all costs. He definitely has that provider protector archetype at his own expense. So even when it empties him. Then I picked up overcompensating. He overcompensate. There's a lot of overcompensating karma going on with him in love, specifically in love in his relationships, and specifically with the feminine energy in his life. Okay, because I don't feel like he never had consistent love growing up. And then I did hear clearly that like my grandma was the only one that loved me. That's like a download that I got. So maybe his grandma was the only like female energy that was genuinely, real with him and genuine and just wanted what was best for him without there being cords or depletion, right? And then I picked up on misplaced loyalty. So this is him holding on to his friends and crew that were never meant to go with him to the next level, right? Because he's got a big heart. He's a ride or die. He's saying, he's thinking like, obviously I'm not God, I'm not Rod Wave. He's thinking like, oh, these people came up with me. They were down when I was bad, so of course I'm going to help them when I'm up, right? Anyways, again, a big theme from him is he is a protector, he is a provider. And with that life path 8, he's probably always going to have money. He's always going to have some kind of resources or material gain that other people are going to want from him. But it's so important for him with that moon in Pisces to set them boundaries, or he's just going to be drained. So his current energy. So I definitely heard soft boy and lost boy. Then I got warrior, right? So he was always searching for love and belonging. And I feel like he found that with the streets or with, the wrong crew, so to speak, allegedly, right? And then I pick up on identity struggles, identity issues, especially with feminine energy. So whether that be within himself or the, females in his life, or the males in his life that maybe lack the connection with their inner feminine, okay? So there's cycles of him being misunderstood and scapegoated, okay? Money, I hope I'm wrong. I want to see Rod Wave bring out more albums. I love Rod Wave, you know what I'm saying? But I see his money slowing down. And his guides right now, I don't know specifically where he's at or what he's doing. I think he might be in jail. I don't know, allegedly, right? This is all my psychic opinion for entertainment purposes only. But really, I feel like he's being called to sit down right now and to really evaluate who's around him, who has good intentions for him, who's going to be moving into the next level of his life with him, right? And then, his grandmother's love is one of the few solid feminine anchors in his life. And he needs to distance himself from his current circle. So obviously with the clearing work that I'm doing and things like that, you know what you know, you can't unsee it. And I feel like another reason why I felt like, I want to do Rod Wave is I'm picking up on a lot of ownership tags, allegedly, and exploitation around his management. Okay, I really do feel like he just needs a whole new friend group. Allegedly. Anyways, he's got a very big heart. He's a hopeless romantic, but he's guarded. So I feel like, it's easy for people to play with his emotions, but he's obviously aware of it. And that's kind of why I get this like teddy bear type of vibe from him. Even though like obviously we know like two things can exist at once. Everyone is not perfect. You know what I'm saying? And just doing an energetic tap in and being a compassionate, neutral witness with this, like, he's just a lost boy. You know what I mean? So then I get angel numbers too. So I got 3 of them this round. So I got 838. And obviously I don't know these all on the top of my head. So I looked them up and I'm like, okay, what relates to this reading so far? And 838, I got loyalty checks and karmic balance. 844, I got foundation, discipline, and protection while he's leveling up. So I feel like his guides are definitely there to help him right now. And he's in a transition phase type, so to speak, right? And then 828. So this would hit as a balance between hustle, which is the 8. 2 is the balance in his heart. The 8th chakra, which is your higher heart. So making sure love and money are both real is a big theme in his energetic field right now. And you know, the cost of money, right? The cost of being successful. So, core soul lessons for Rodwave. Rodwave's medicine to the collective is turning unhealed pain into a bridge for others to walk across. So, that's why I feel like a lot of people sometimes they'll be like, oh, he's always so sad. He's always so sad. And, why can't he never do? But honestly, you know what I'm saying? I don't think Rodwave's meant to be up there singing about, strictly motivational things. He's definitely here to share from his true heart song and from his experience, and to be that bridge, to be that mirror, that catalyst for so many young souls, so many souls out there who've gone through that same kind of pain, that has felt that same kind of feeling, but his guides warn, if he doesn't heal his inner child, he does not do shadow work. He does not sit down and just, take accountability that, for maybe not things that he's done, so to speak, but just take accountability for his life and for his self, success could feel empty. I don't wish this on him. I hope not, but I don't know if Rodwave is going to be really at that level that we know Rodwave at in a few years. You know what I'm saying? Or it could just crumble under the weight of just unresolved wounds, honestly. Okay, so future predictions. So usually I'll get like different timelines that I'll tap into that could happen, right? And there was a good timeline, if he definitely does choose, like, to stay like in a healthy mindset and to stay off of certain things and things like that and choose himself, really, right? I see about like 2 to 3 key people. Not in his life yet. I don't feel like he's met these people yet. They're going to be younger males that are going to mirror his old wounds to him. And I feel like it's going to make him look at himself on a deeper healing. Like, he's going to be like, oh no, like, you don't need to be doing that. Like, let me help you out. Let me, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like, if he allows it, his music will one day carry spiritual medicine. And which I feel like it does carry spiritual medicine already, because he's a spiritual being and things like that. But like, it'll still be raw, it'll still feel real, but with the frequency that's uplifting people, not just kind of like trauma dumping. And I'm not saying he trauma dumps, but in a way it kind of is. But he's singing the blues, he's singing from the soul. Again, I love Rodwave. Please don't come for me. I love Rodwave. Okay, anyways, so he's here to prove you can make it out. You can make it out, right? From the bottom without losing your heart. That's a theme for his soul in this life. But first, he has to protect that heart from the people who are still feeding off of it. He needs to respect and understand, like, he's got a big heart. That's never gonna change. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it can change if he lets people change it. But I feel like that's the kind of spiritual warfare that he's in. Psychological warfare he's in right now. Is, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I got this huge heart and I care so much, but all these people around me, they're not giving me the same energy. You know what I'm saying? Then, what's wrong with me? I need to change myself. But that's the thing. He don't need to change himself. If anything, he needs to just heal himself. You know what I'm saying? And get around from certain people. In my opinion, this is my psychic opinion. So the fame, the pain, they're both tools for him. And that's what I'm saying. He lives kind of like this double-edged sword in this dilemma. But it can't be his whole identity. Like, let's be real. You know what I'm saying? Like, that must be real hard to go up on there. Oh, people are like, oh, he gets all kinds of money. He gets the bitches. He gets the fame. And part of my French and all that. But, like, no, he's really going up there as a human being. If we look at it as a natural, compassionate witness, he's going up there and he's literally singing and perpetuating these karmic loops that he's lived through. And he's sharing them, right? For better or for worse. Some people, like, when I listen to Rodwave, I'm like, oh, yeah, like, like, I felt that way before. And I'm not gonna lie, there was a point where I was just listening to Rodwave a lot and my vibration started to go down. So I feel like that's when, like, I picked up on that, like, it'll be more spiritually healing than just more of like a spiritual release. If he chooses that timeline, right? And that the moment he heals his inner child, the moment he starts doing shadow work, The moment he starts to like be like, okay, maybe I need some help, or okay, maybe it's not just me, maybe it's these other people around me. The moment he heals that inner child, the empire won't just grow. It'll finally feel like a home to him, right? He'll finally feel like he belongs. Because, again, little boy lost is what I picked up on it. Like, I instantly heard that, you know what I'm saying? And we can tell that, you know, especially if you listen to Rod Wave. But it's so important for him to really reevaluate the decisions, or just the people he's around, reevaluate his management, and things like that. Because I feel like Rod Wave can bring so much more to the collective, and not that he hasn't already, but he's destined to bring so much more to the collective. And I just, you know, I'm sending my prayers. I'm gonna wrap this up. You know, I'm not sitting here trying to exploit anybody. I honestly just wanted to tap into his energy, and then I was like, okay, this is why I'm tapping into it and stuff like that. But I feel like, you know, there's a part of us, all of us, that can like relate to things that Rod Wave has talked about. I feel like, you know, you listen to his music, just don't live in that perpetual state of sadness and things like that. Like, take what you need from it and things like that. That's just my advice, you know, because I love Rod Wave. I'm always gonna rock Rod Wave, even though what I know now, tapping into his energy and things like that. I do want to see him make it. I do feel like he's got a lot to give, you know, not only just materialistically to his people, but to the collective. And I'm sending all my love and light and prayers to him. And if you're a Rod Wave fan, you should too, you know what I'm saying? Because I want to see him make it out on the other side, and actually being able to enjoy in his hard work, you know, and his grief, really, because his work deals with his grief and his wounds. So he's in a dilemma. It's a double-edged sword for him, but I feel like he can make it out, especially if he does end up meeting those two boys that I picked up on, or 2 or 3 boys, and they really make him want to change, you know what I'm saying, or make him retouch into that baby Rod Wave inside that he's ran from, right? So I'm gonna close this up. This was my psychic opinion. This was all for entertainment purposes only. It's all alleged. Love and light to Rod Wave. Love and light to all my supporters. Love and light to all you guys out there. Omni-love. I'm tired. I got a long day. Until the next transmission.